Welcome back to the channel. Well, know that it has been exposed that there is no new evidence being presented by the Crown, and that they are just planning to use the evidence that was gathered and collected by the former DPP. Some people believe that the acting DPP is just following the instructions of the former DPP, who was actually the one who said that if the murder conviction was quashed by the Privy Council, they wanted a retrial and that they were fully prepared for a retrial. But since that DPP was removed and the acting DPP replaced her, basically what we're seeing at the court is that the prosecution looked unprepared, even when questions was asked about how much the case ever cost. Some believe that the DPP will say that really. No, that they must say they have located most of the main witnesses and that they are available for a retrial, and that they are leaning on also the circumstantial evidence which was gathered by the office of the DPP when the former DPP was the head of the office. I don't know if this acting DPP was a part of the team. But tell me, with all of that, do we believe now that this acting DPP is following the footsteps, the framework, the blueprint that was already laid out by the other DPP? It never left people to wonder, is the former DPP running the show from the shadows? At the moment, the DPP is called, the one in charge now, is called an acting DPP. So the other DPP has not really been removed. Somebody's just acting in their place until the government sort out whatever they must sort out. Talk to me in the comment section, tell me you think. Now on to the other stories that are making headlines today. Now, the JCF is saying that they are distancing themselves from a statement made by a police DSP calling licensed firearm holders cowards. Now, High Command says that they are distancing themselves from the remarks made by senior member regarding the licensed firearm holders. Now, during a recent sitting of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Deputy Superintendent Paul Bernard called for residents to embrace community-based policing to address crime and violence in the parish. Now, this controversial statement is seen differently by different people. Now, for one, he noted that there was a void between police and residents, with many of them choosing not to assist the security forces even when they have knowledge of criminal activity. But yet still, these are the same people who say they want a better community. Keep in mind, crime and violence has persisted in certain inner city communities because of the code of silence that most people live by in these communities. Even though everybody business still get talked, but it's a code of silence. DSP Bernard further went on to describe many residents, including the licensed firearm holders, as cowards. Yeah, we couldn't hear that so we continue the reason to call listen.
Some of the residents, they are cowards as well. If you go there to look for Miss Murphy, they'll see you and video you. But they see the criminal, they say, I'm a G that man. Because he can buy my Roman book. Coward. A lot of us are cowards. Even firearm holders inside here. Most of you are cowards. Cowards. And I'll stand here and say that. Tell me when last year a firearm holder shoot somebody. A lot of you are cowards, man. Firearm holders inside here and then go lock up in the car. A lot of you are cowards. When I leave the fight for police alone. So let me say, let's try to have a baby.
No, after the statements were made and started to circulate social media, High Command gave the response. It says the comments run counter to the principles and model of the stakeholders engagement that the JCF rigorously upholds. Stakeholder engagement. Keep it in mind that vigilantism is outlawed on the Jamaican island and in many places across the world. That's why the superhero shows in normally see law enforcement sometimes also chasing the person in a suit. If you are watching show, then will be the superhero. We are trying to save the people. That's because just by putting on the mask and the cape and a try to tackle crime on your own, that within itself is against the law. But this DSP is saying that community initiative should be taken. The community is supposed to want to see the community be safe. They're not supposed to just wait upon law enforcement. And if law enforcement do come, he must say, them not give no assistance to law enforcement. He say all them want do a call. Make the call, say something like that. But when law enforcement arrive in these communities, whoever did make the call is nowhere to be found because nobody is willing to give any information to law enforcement. And I just know it's this. Now, according to the constabulary force, the remarks were reckless and not representative of the values and the professional standards of the JCF. High Command says it's currently reviewing the matter with the utmost seriousness. But tell me what you think about that statement of truth. Look a reason. This officer is saying that once upon a time, even in certain communities, people would not stand for certain type of activities. But it's also sad to say is that people say when remarks were made by an elected official saying that people would have been able to sleep with doors and windows open. It was because it was said that in the community of Tivoli Gardens before people used to boast that it was a community where you could have sleep with your windows and doors open. It wasn't just because law enforcement did pass through regularly. It was because the community as a whole would not stand for anybody that go through nobody's window and a try, you know what I mean, broken on nobody's place. The community would not stand for it. Once upon a time, you couldn't do this. Once upon a time, you couldn't do anything to the elderly, women and children. You know what I mean? The vulnerable in the community. But over time, things change. And so much and not so much for the better. But while people are still willing to call law enforcement and report crimes, even recently JCF did say when they made out the program a deal with them try to recover illegal firearms from communities where they must say illegal firearms are in. They say a large percentage of the firearms that were recovered because of the assistance of people from the community. People from the community, they're tired of the crime and violence, tired of the gun violence, and then, you know, see how they don't want the bonding of them coming to them. And then help out law enforcement. When the situation take place in St. Thomas, when this man, the take away the people in youth, it was with the act of residents and law enforcement that such a massive search took place that the individual fled from that parish to another parish, but because of the awareness across the entire island, people see him and notify the authorities. And he was captured. And the girl was rescued. So in a sense, I guess that's what the DSP are talking about. The way I'm worded probably just never right. Because you can't call licensed firearm holders cowards. Because keep in mind, you can't just, as I say, being a vigilante is against the law. And if you use your firearm as a vigilante, just go out there and try to tackle crime, they will be taking your firearm license. Them tell you all the ways way and the rules of engagement, just like an officer. Your life will be a threat to use that firearm. You can't just take out the firearm and just discharge the firearm. No, you never take it away. At the very least, suspend the license. So, when you go say licensed firearm holders are cowards, we don't know what you expect licensed firearm holders to go do. Based on the rules and the regulation when they tell you when they give you your firearm, the carrier's permit. It is even called a concealed carrier's permit. You can't even carry a gun and the people are see it. Them can't wear say you have a gun because they must see it outprint on your shirt or something. But it has to be concealed. It's a concealed carrier's permit. It's not like police where you can just see them gun in them holster upon them leg or them a travel with them guns on them hand. No! Concealed carrier's permit. So when them say you're a coward, the JC didn't have to say something about that. Because them don't want people start go, they go, you understand? It would be good. But we never talk about community policing. Meaning say the community are look out like a community watch. What have to do community watch them? They don't do something. And it was never really a thing in the inner city. Truth be told. It was never really a thing in the inner city. And I think in a certain uptown community it's still very active. Still very, very active. But in the inner city, it has reached the point where it is no longer men within the community trying to defend the community.